Okay, we are aware of how to buy and sell cryptocurrencies on any exchange. But what about those futures? There exist XRP futures, and I want you all to be set up long before the October vote on the Clarity Act, just in case. We're going to tell you the ins and outs of what you need to set it up on Webull, what are the fees, and what you should be getting ready for come this October. We're going to do that right now, right here on the Ujamaa Network. Now, to understand what type of contracts I'm talking about futures contracts, but not what you would typically see on a standard XRP futures contract. With the price of XRP sitting around $1 right now, it makes it very attractive to buyers or customers who have limited access to funds. A standard contract controls about 200 XRP. That's about $200. And if you're required to get like maybe one contract, that means $200, give or take. But with a nano or micro XRP contract, it's only worth about $10. It only controls 10 XRP. So with $100, you can theoretically put up enough money to own a couple of contracts. That might not seem like a whole lot to big investors, but the beginners like you and I, owning 10 contracts of XRP, and when that profit margin hits up, when people start trailing or trading during the month of October, is what we're all expecting. With the vote coming in on the Clarity Act, this may be an opportunity that too many of us cannot afford to pass up. So I'm going to go ahead and get into what I'm doing and what you need to do to be ready so that you can possibly make a move when this thing happens. Unlike when we get on Coinbase or Uphold or any one of the exchanges, we're not buying the actual token. With futures, you're actually buying the right to buy and sell the transaction itself. You're not buying the asset class itself, you're buying the contract or the agreement to buy and sell those tokens. And there's a commission or a price to be made, a profit to be made on the direction of whether or not this thing sells or people starts to buy them. So we're all expecting this thing to go up. At least some of the prognosticators on Yahoo Finance and Coin Marketplace, they're saying that this might be the end of this crypto winter. With futures, you have to take into account the other side of the equation, or the people who are saying that cryptocurrency as a whole is dead. So what the profit or losses are going to be depends on the direction of this market. And I'm thinking it's going to depend on the direction of what happens with this now delayed vote. If the market responds like many people are expecting it to, and it goes from 99 cents or $1 per token to $6, every transaction that is made for someone who wants to sell their XRP, the existing customers, at a higher price, well, that's where the futures traders come in anticipation of that market demand to sell off all these tokens. If you're going to sell, a lot of people are going to be buying these XRP tokens and holding on to them because it is supposed to go up to $26 a token. You're increasing the value of it because they bought it so low and they can sell it at a later time. They don't have to wait until any specific market action happens. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the difference between buying the asset class itself, like using Coinbase or YouTube, or you plug in the exchange you're talking about when you're buying the actual token and just holding on to the cryptocurrency for a future profit because it's going to be worth more in the future, versus a futures contract which says, hey, the second people start buying, that's when I want to make some money. That's the difference. Now, the reason you should be jumping on this right now is you got to go through an application process to even trade futures on Webull. So log into your Webull account and make sure that when you go to the trade option here, that you're ready to have these trades go through. In order to do that, you need at least $100 set up in a futures trading account. Now, there's an application process that I had to go through. It has to be approved, and that's done within a couple of minutes of you getting accepted. Now, make sure when you're filling out this application process, you put in the relevant information, that you've got some trading experience, how many times you plan on trading, that kind of deal. It's only like 3 or 4 questions, give or take. Make sure you fill that out to the best of your ability. Don't have to fudge it, but make sure you're putting in that sufficient information. Say less. After that, it's going to require that deposit. I went ahead and deposited some cash into it. It's going to take 3 to 5 days. Make sure you are getting this thing done. At the time of this recording, it was about August 14th on a Friday. 3 business days, that's next Tuesday or Wednesday. Honestly, I'm cutting it close. Make sure you have this thing in here at least before the end of August. So when the vote comes through that's been delayed, it was supposed to happen in September, it's going to happen in October. And when that thing hits, if it hits, make sure you're ready. Jump on it. Now, there has been some talk that maybe XRP will take another 50% hit. That means it's going to be trading at 50 cents versus $1. I don't think so. I think we see a pretty good support line at $1 off of its all-time, or excuse me, not all-time high, but relatively all-time high back last summer when it hit like $3.40. That was a particularly quick run we had back then, and I made a good turnaround on that with the limited funds that I had in there at the time. The more funds you're able to put into this thing on any platform, whether you're buying the asset class itself, the token, or if you're getting ready to try to get some futures contracts and try to profit off of those, where again, you're not owning the token, but you're making profit off of the sale of those tokens. Make sure you know the difference.